Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So on the heels of last week's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my 10 tips for throwing a very stress-free, easy DIY birthday party at home. Whether it's for adults or children, these 10 principles will matter. I've been throwing parties for my kids for a number of years, and I am a nursery teacher, so I'm really aware of what kids really want, what has worked for me throughout the years and what hasn't, and I want to share them with you, especially if you're a working full-time parent like me, working Monday to Friday. Throwing birthday parties on the weekend can be really tiresome. So I hope these tips help. So let's jump straight into them. Number one. Now, this is one that my husband makes fun of me all the time, is key, I think, to keeping anything stressful is planning. I plan my kids' parties a month in advance because at that pace, I can really think about what I want to do, especially if I want to keep costs down. If I'm making things myself, start ahead, so I'm not really panicking at the end of the month when I have to have the party. My husband thinks it's too early. I think it keeps my sanity. I recommend it highly. Plan as much as you can. Check with your children what they want to have. A month in advance is probably as far as I would go because kids like to change their mind all the time. So my kids, sometimes they want a superhero party and then they change to a Pokemon party. So a month in advance, plan ahead. Ask your kids what you want, because that way you're going to keep costs down, keep your sanity, and also be able to create a really classy party. Number two, really is a no-brainer. Have your party on a Sunday, especially if you're a working mom like me and you're planning a party for your kids. Just have it on a Sunday because it gives you the entire Saturday to actually prepare and really get yourself ready. Because I used to try and do it on Saturdays purely because I thought everybody would be more relaxed. You're not working on Saturdays and you can really enjoy yourself, but really everybody enjoys themselves and you end up being stressed out. Do yourself a favor. Have your parties on a Sunday. Keep it simple and stress-free. Number three, keep your guest list small. Now, I did used to throw really big parties here in Sweden for my kids. My eldest son was born in the summer, so it was a lot easier. We have the balcony, we can open it out. We live in a townhouse, it's not very big. So I've come to realize that you really need to scale back the guest list when you're having your DIY parties or a party at home like I'm going to have for my son. So what I've done is we usually have one party for family and friends. We don't have a lot of people there, maybe about 6 or 7 people. We had this last weekend for my parents-in-laws because they are traveling to Sri Lanka on Sunday when I'm having the party for my son. So I had the party for them the week before. It was really easy and it's a great tip. Split your party in half. So I had family and friends, and then I'm going to have my kids' party on Sunday. And there again, you don't need to invite the entire class. I mean, some classes have 20 to 30 kids. You don't want to have all of them. Nobody's going to have fun. It's just going to be a crazy situation. Unless, of course, you have a really big house or you're having an open party and you've got lots of adults to keep track of them. Here in Sweden, people like to drop the children off so that they have a couple of hours to do some things for themselves. So I'm going to be alone with my husband and myself and all the children. So I'm keeping it really minimum, keeping it really small. And do yourself a favor and do exactly that. Tip number 4. Make sure you keep your food simple. I have been a real optimist when I've had parties and created a lot of food. I love to cook and I love to create things and been spending hours on Pinterest trying to go through all the different recipes and try and make new things for the party. I'm here to tell you, don't do it. It is too stressful. Keep your party food very simple. Now, if you're really good at making cakes, you want to make your kids' cake, you can. I find that cake usually just sits in my fridge. Nobody ever eats it. We had a cake when we had more of the adults last week because that way the cake does get eaten, but I still had cake left over in my fridge. So I like to do either cupcakes or, in this case, for my son's birthday, we did a Pokemon ball in the shape of an ice cream cake. So it was really popular. Kids love ice cream and it really was worth the effort. I didn't put much work into it. It really came quickly. I was able to prepare it the day before or even 2 days before. So really keep your food simple, especially if you're having a kids party. Kids don't eat that much. They really eat very little. So I had pizza as well as some cupcakes and some sweets and as well as some popcorn and chips. So very easy, very simple things that your kids would like to eat, because you don't want to be slaving your entire morning in the kitchen cooking and cooking for people who are not going to actually eat. And how much food can anyone actually eat? And especially, this is not the time to try any new recipes. So just make what you are used to having, what you know people like, what you've had done before, and keep your party food very, very simple, and use your party food as decor. As you can see here, I have made a number of platters here in the shapes of Pokemon balls. One is a sweet platter, and one here you can see is a savory platter. So this is definitely the way to go. Make your food a statement, but make it very simple and use tried and tested recipes. Don't make anything too complicated. Number 5, to make your parties easy and stress-free, is to clean your home. Now, no DIY party or any party will be effective if your house is messy and your house is dirty. So I recommend a couple of days before, or even the day before, really getting your house in order and focusing on the areas where you're going to be the most. So for me, that was my kitchen. I like to clear out my kitchen because I'm going to have lots of food and prep work going on there, and I need to have clear space, and clear out my fridge. I cleared out my fridge, as you can see here, and I found this block of cheese that I hadn't used. I can use some of these things that I had in my fridge for food as well for the party. So clear out your fridge. So make sure you have room for it, because there's nothing worse when you've made all the things and you want to put them into your fridge and you have no room. It's really frustrating, and on the day of the party you have no time to be cleaning out your fridge. So those two things in the kitchen. I like to get my hall in shape, especially as you can see outside it's still snowing. We've got a lot of snow, so we're going to have a lot of gloves and hats and scarves. So I've cleared out all our jackets and all our shoes, put everything away, hung up some extra hangers for parents if they need to stay and they want to hang their jackets, and I've cleared out a basket for the kids to put their hats and jackets and scarves, everything in one place, so it's not scattered throughout my house or in my hall. My hall is going to be messy as it is, with all this snow being tracked in as well as shoes, so I'm going to do as much as possible to help it out. And then, of course, your bathrooms, making sure your bathrooms are clean, fresh hand towels, nice scented candles, just making sure that you have them presentable for your family and friends, or even for these children who are coming for the party. And especially for children, you want to have 2 bathrooms ready if you can, because they are not as good as holding what they need to be doing in the bathroom as we adults are. So they really need to go, and if one bathroom is occupied, then obviously they want to run to the next one. So make sure both bathrooms, if you'd have 2, are well cleaned and prepared for your parties. It's really going to help you out. Tip number 6, really to keep your costs down and your party looking upscale, I recommend using actual tablecloth. I don't like the plastic tablecloths. Get rid of them. Don't buy them. They are really flimsy. They really are not very good quality. And even though they have the print of whatever party theme that you are going with on it, it does not make your party look really upscale. It makes it look cheap, in my opinion, and it really is an expense that you don't need. What I recommend you use is your own tablecloths. You don't need to limit yourself to tablecloths. I did a Pokemon tablescape for my son's birthday, as you can see here. I've used 2 red runners because I didn't have a red tablecloth. I've used a black sheet for that we have for our beds upstairs, as well as a white duvet that we have here. So I've used all these 3 on my table to create this Pokemon ball, and it really looks a lot classier and a lot more upscale, and I didn't spend any money. I just used everything I had at home. I was lucky. I had this ceramic round flat plate that my mother gave me some years ago, so I put it in the middle and it worked out perfectly. And if I move on to my console, you can see this is actually a bed throw that my mother made. It matches perfectly with this color of this Pokemon character, so I used that instead, and I've just thrown a few little Pokemon characters that I printed out on a very inexpensive paper, just to give it a little bit of a theme. I've used this dark tablecloth as a backdrop for the balloon that I bought. As you can see, really works well. We had some photographs taken here, really pops. So I've just used everything that I have in my house. I absolutely hate plastic tablecloths for parties. It just does not work. It doesn't keep anything looking upscale, especially if you want to keep things DIY and you are not the best at creating DIY decorations. This really is going to help you elevate your party. So stay away from plastic tablecloth. The next tip also is to elevate your party. To elevate your party, you're going to want to use proper serving dishes. Now, don't go and buy those foil trays that you get at the store. You don't need to spend your money on that. Use what you have at home. As you can see here, I'm using a cake stand, a vintage cake stand that I got from my mother-in-law. I have a wooden one. I'm using this wooden Lazy Susan from IKEA that I bought very inexpensive. I've used what I have in my home, mixing everything. It really elevates your tablescape and really keeps you on budget. I mean, buying those silver tray things it's just so cheap. They're so tacky. I really don't recommend it. And if you're finding it difficult to wash all these things, what I would recommend is taking some foil, putting it on your serving platter, and then putting a tissue paper in the color scheme that you're working with, and then you're going to have a really nice, very upscale looking tablescape with all different heights on all the different types of serving platters that you have around your home. Use your books, use some boxes, give everything a little bit of height and a variation, and your tablescape is going to look really lovely, especially if your food is going to act as part of the decor. So that would be my next tip. So this one is really great to saving you money. Don't feel like you have to have everything matching cups, matching plates, matching serviettes in the theme of the party. It really isn't necessary. If you do some of the big DIY decor pieces yourself, your party plates and your party cups don't have to be in the theme of the party. Now, here in Sweden, they are quite expensive. They're also quite flimsy. They're not very well made. I don't particularly like them. And everything I've used here is actually what I had on hand. So what I've used is I've gone through my stash of things I had leftovers from other parties, and that's what I'm using. And I chose everything that was in the right color scheme. So there is a Pokemon, a pink Pokemon. So these pink cups really work well. And there's this sort of light green Pokemon, which these green cups really work well. And I've got some yellow plates left over from a party that I had with my son when he was 1 year old. I did a giraffe party, so these plates are left over from there, and these are really nice. These hard plates, I mean, they can be recycled and thrown away, but you can also wash them and reuse them, so they're not those sort of flimsy paper plates that you're using all the time and have to throw out. I've saved this. Now he's turning 5. 4 years later, I'm able to use them for his party again. So save yourself some money. Don't have everything matching. Don't go out and buy yourself everything in the theme. It's not necessary. It really doesn't keep your party looking classy, in my opinion. And the next tip I have for you for keeping costs down at your party is to create your own DIY party decor. Now, as you saw last week, I did a lot of the decor myself, but I like to keep the decor large in size because then it is impactful, and then you don't need to use a lot of decor. If you let your decor really too small, you're going to have a lot to actually fill your space and create an impact. So just keep it simple, but on the larger side. I simply printed out all these Pokemon characters, strung them on a string, hung them up as a party banner. I've made the happy birthday party banner myself. I just printed out these letters and some of the Pikachus, and I pasted on the letters, laminated them and strung them up onto our mirror. So really inexpensive, but big party DIY decor pieces that really help elevate your party and make your life a lot less difficult, because you're not scampering around trying to make a whole heap of decor to fill your space. So think big when it comes to DIY party decor. Balloon garlands are also a great example of that, because it's really big, really fills up the space and really draws your eye towards that area. So don't be afraid to pull things from your home. So for example, especially if you're having a kid's birthday party, it is probably the theme that one of your kids is right into at that moment, and it's probably got some soft toys or some books. I've used a lot of the merchandising that they got for their birthday party, that he got as presents, as decor. I've used his cap here on my lampshade. I've used his books on my open shelves in the kitchen. I have actually used the pencil case that he got from my mother as decor. He's wearing the t-shirt that he got for his birthday as his party outfit. So as you can see, it's the likelihood of you having a lot of stuff around that theme is probably very high. If your child is wanting to have that party theme, means he's been interested in for a while, and you've probably accumulated things in that theme that you have not thought about using for your party. And finally, when it comes to buying party decor, buy a few statement pieces. So for example, like this balloon. I bought this one. It's quite a large balloon. It's going to be our statement piece of decor. And as you can see, it really was effectful, especially in front of this blue tablecloth. Very, very inexpensive, very simple way to create a pop of color and a theme of your party. Just one big balloon is enough. I've seen people on Pinterest and on YouTube buying a whole heap on Amazon. I don't know how much they cost, but really it is not necessary. Really, one big balloon really makes a statement and really draws your eye to it and allows the children to enjoy one thing really well, as opposed to having a number of things that people really don't pay attention to. So invest your money in the right place. Don't spend a lot on your children's birthday parties. It is not necessary. So I hope this video has helped, given you some tips and ideas on what you should really focus on to keep your party classy, easy and manageable for you, especially if you're a working mom like me, Monday to Friday, and you're really tired at the end of the week and you still have to have energy to throw your kids a fun-filled birthday party. And of course we want to do it, but really I find that keeping things simple for us and us enjoying the party as well and the entire process is also key. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel, give this a thumbs up, share the video if you've made it this far and you like it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.